Cycle interference, channel position locations, open all tracks, center line, and rotation. Let's calculate and modify all levels on TikTok. It's a very powerful platform where we come in, position locations, who we are. Pass relation is all levels of division. Transcendent track interference location implementations. It's all about you going through all levels of memory for the very first time. Track interference for the very first time. Calculations for the very first time. Understand the avatar for the very first time. Waking up to visions for the very first time. Everything is all levels of the very first time. It's all about you understanding you and all tractions of communications of you. Who you are through your soul is recognizing its position location to time. Space of communication, space of cycles, space of triangles, space of boxes, space, position, location, all levels of you through triangulation. Understand the calculation modifications, all levels of you. Try to stay in your own sovereignty. Try to stay in your own freedoms. Try to stay in the now. Try to stay in the mind and try to stay in position locations. Stop using a tool recognition of time locations of problems. It interchanges position locations to its headspace. So this is going to be day 3 line center of the test position location line condition. It's going to be given to you. So the box channel line center is going to be all levels of open sequence. I'm going to put you guys locking frame centers into space line conditions and what it is to the head space and what it is through the heart space. Okay. The head of the hindline center in position of the psychosis location of the psychological line connection of its channel line system to its 3i position line condition, which is 6th position of the 9 line system, into the mind. Okay. The heart of the mind, the heart of the space, and the heart of the soul. Okay. 5-10 minutes, we get started. Calculation modifications. After this, we have a Zoom Monday and Wednesdays. Today's Wednesday. Hope to see you guys all there. More about questions and comments. Now, to make it very well clear, I'm going to be very quick on this. In calculations, as we start, I really want you guys just get into a lot of questions of you and how well you're doing in school. Anything else relatable, anything through personal, you can go through DM through me, you can go through Amy or anybody else on the team that can help you out. But this is all levels of Q&A and you only. How well you're doing in school, what you need help with, okay? Anything in a personal content can be asked afterwards, okay? Through other questions and comments. It's important you understand that because we only have a 2-hour window and I'm holding all that space of energy, okay? We have the host and the co-hosts, Michael and Jill, holding that position locations. So we also have the ascended masters that holding all line conditions and who comes in the waiting room and who comes in into live. So it's important you understand that, okay? So I want to make sure when you guys go on live, you know exactly what you want to say, okay? So, and this is about pointing things out because if you get personal, because it stretches and stretches and stretches and 2 hours goes extremely fast, you're still talking, it's been a half an hour and people already have their hand up and they're waiting to get their questions answered. So if you're specific with your question, it's all about, okay, Daniel, I want to know what's going on with the avatar. I'm not seeing these things. Ambi, I don't understand my shadow work. Jill, can you help me with my Merkaba? Airbender, I'm trying to figure out how to use my teleportation, a radar. That's what I'm talking about. Easy peasy, lemon squeezy. All right. So to jot that down makes it more easier so we can get it into a better flow. Okay. I'd rather say this now than we get on live because we know exactly what we are up against. It's getting your questions answered so you can understand more. And you notice I just paused there. See? I pause there. It's like, so it's important you understand that. All right. As we are here for you, as you're here for you. So it's about helping each other. And the only way to do that is to get your questions answered. Okay. So how's everybody doing today? Yes, there is. It's on my YouTube. There's a link. Everything's there for you. All you got to do is identify yourself, show your face. Face recognition is extremely important. Okay. That's how we identify your face recognitions. All right. It's important. Okay, Barbara, Michelle, how's it going? Hey, Val, Terry, Don, Ambi, Jill, Johnny, Michael, Missy, DC Units, Pam, how's it going? Gypsy, how's it going? All right. So this is what we're going to do today, right? Because the test is tomorrow. And I want to make sure that you guys understand you need at least 10 to 12 to 15 days to get into your position locations. I hold it once a month. You go to all levels of higher upgrade locations. It's important you understand that. I need you to see discipline. I need you to see commitment in yourself. Okay? Structures, paying attention, knowing what's going on, understanding your grounds, and your pre-flight checks. Okay? There's a very powerful video I want you guys to see on TikTok from Gypsy, where she comes into all levels of her grounding operation. It's extremely powerful. Now that's through her perception. You guys have to find your perception so you can understand how to ground your system before you travel. Okay. Now the Ascended Masters and the Rebellion and the GFL are already traveling. Some of the squads too. So, and that's what this is all about, knowing exactly what you're getting ahead of time. Right? So if you're getting things ahead of time, you're coming more into the future of you, of space, which is exciting, right? So Janice, Gene G, Max. All right, Jogan, Missy. How's it going, Missy? Missy, you're back in calculation line streams. You're good to go. It's important you guys understand how to get into scanning. Just please be specific on what you want to ask when you're in live on question. Okay. It makes it easier and it's a better flow because we only have a 2-hour window. All right. So if you miss Monday, you can go Wednesdays and check your times. Mine is 12 p.m. and it starts 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So check your time zones. All right. Jennifer, how's it going? Sarah, how's it going? Elaine, how's it going? All right. Pyra, how's it going? Belinda, how's it going? Michael's all set up. Andy's all set up. Jill set up the roots. All right. So this is basically understanding coming in with Jill. Rooted, grounded, chakras aligned, centered, balanced, inner child, heart line center, flux capacitor, sun, the moon, Orion's belt, Merkaba, Buddha, E-fields, plasma, web, the crystal grid, hydrated and standing by. That's the grounds. That's what I mean in grounds. Okay. That simplifies exactly what you're doing before you travel. Okay, just to give you guys a heads up. All right, Airbender, Chris. Great. So as we're traveling, the crew unit line centers, code signals are set up as location line conditions. Truly understand all levels of you is all levels of the soul and what it's doing through the avatar to this condition. Pre-flight checks. Yeah, very good. Excellent. Dodgy, how's it going? All right. Christy, how you doing? All right, so as we're going to do this, it's an information tactic view. I love the views, communication and perception locations. The precise is its line center. All right, so there's going to be 2 track line centers, offline position location line conditions. All right, so it's changing high positions in calculations. All right, so there's going to be 2 energetic bubbles, communication line system locations. All right, one in position and one out of position. Okay, one in position and one out of position. All right. So the one in the position location, all right, is the calculations up here, right? Where it comes into the head space. Head equals space. Okay. That's the head space. Modification line centers. Now this is the mind line rotation. Mind equals, okay, / operation. To understand that calculation levels to a system, right? In, out. Now I understand it. So what's going on? Because the inline center is its headspace position locations. So it's in divergence, line inner rotation, its calculation. The psychosis line conditions, all levels of its mind equals line conditions to its precision to what's going on through calculation. All right. So this is all about using the psychological locations. All right. So you guys are going to be trapped in the headspace line. Okay. And you're going to go through it. You have to know what it is so you can get out of it into the mind of its operation. All right. Setting the code signal line in rotation interference, okay, into the crew unit line position locations, squad unit 1s and 2s, everything to GFL and position location Rebellion and the Ascended Masters. Get them in the headspace line conditions, equals equation line interference, platitude visual locations, 15-minute triangle interference location, maze and communication cycles, reset line channel line rotation, lock all doors in calculations. 20 minutes, have fun. Now, you guys are in a time sequence, time code, time interference in position locations. You can't get out. How can you change your mind operation, right? Have fun. Test is tomorrow. Modification to a system. So we'll get more into that. Knowing exactly what's going on through you is all through its provision. Provision, visionary line center. So the proactive system is the visionary cortex to its location and how to use your thoughts. That's all this is, how to use your thoughts. Okay? How to use your steppings of your thoughts, how to use the calculations of your thoughts, how to use your finger points of your thoughts. Each finger represents you through position. Okay? And it's all recognize you through the heart system. Okay? So that's a true understanding why it's so powerful, how you can get into high position locations to its headspace, to its mind of its operation. Right? It's all psychological. Have fun. All right, so I want to get back into triangle position line centers. Now, we're going to go through a pre-flight check and position locations to the test review and evaluation of what's expected for tomorrow. So tomorrow line centers, there's going to be 4 track interference, 4 line center location simulations, right, in position of space, real time, right? So it's going to coordinate your position locations, 1, 2, 3, 4, right? There's 4 line channels, okay, 2 panel line interference. The track line center is in position location to side-graph positions, all right? There's going to be arrow indicators in the high center. Okay, there's going to be 4 line channels in position to its line connections, all right? 1, 2, 3, 4. Now, this is all about understanding that when you're leaving the position of its bubble, okay, you're on your own. So it's an indicator that goes up, okay, knowing exactly to keep you guys tracked and how far you go. So you start here, and this comes up, all right? Once this comes up, you come into your bandwidths and how much space you can hold, provisions, locations to all line connections, right? So it's about bringing the indicator to here to see your bandwidth of what you can hold in space and how much you have with your thought patterns. So it's going to be bound on communication cycles and high line channel position location to a planetary line system, boxed in frequency. Okay, 4 box frequency line centers to the crew, right, to the squads, to the GFL, okay, to the rebellion and to the ascended masters. Okay. So that's what's going to happen to more position locations. Planetary interference. Now, the ascended masters are going to have no box channel. They're going to go straight through in position to airline center. Okay. So this is going to help you out more a little bit when you understand the calculation. So when the crews come in position locations, they understand what they're doing through the mind system of operation. Right. So that's what's going to happen tomorrow. So it's all about indication, how much bandwidth you can hold, how much space you can see through your precise connections, right, through yourself, right? The peripheral vision. So if I take my finger like this and it follows, I keep looking at it, 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 keep looking. Now I'm looking straight, but I can still see my finger. I can still see my finger. I can still see my finger, right? Because there's a laser direction here hitting this point. Right? So it's amazing what you can reach. It's size graph interference. So it's important you understand that to know exactly what you're up against when you come into your thought patterns. Okay? This is a representation of you to understand your test, review, and your evaluations and how you come into your assembling communication system, right? Through yourself. So it's a lot more fun when you understand it's all position. Comes into its alliance. That's going to be done tomorrow. So you're all going to go into a highline center to a planetary system. Okay, you have to identify yourself in a line connection. All right, so that's what's going to happen tomorrow with you guys. All right. And the upgrades will be in high center. You get your title defense positions. I'll DM you guys and make sure you know exactly where you are. You have a 30-day window system, so you can change your title defense position locations, line connections. I love test day because it's a beautiful thing. It's bringing more light into you through the heart system. right? This is an expansion where you have to come into a line of what you can do through your sizing graph locations, how far you can go, right? Through your bandwidths. See, that's a bandwidth. Cross signal line interference. See how it gets confusing? So you got the north winds, you got the east winds, and you got the west, and you got the south, right? You come into your diamond core. Oh, this is getting interesting. Look at that. It's just a graph. So in calculation line conditions, you can color this in. Okay. Know exactly where it is through location, right? Anything that you see different is all levels of you through your thoughts of coloration. It's all connected from inside position, okay? So there's a rectangle position, all right? So an XT1000 comes in, another XT1000 comes in. We'll always have two line centers, right? Sometimes we have 3 or 4. So we have low gliders, medium and high glider interference. They set the energy graph line center electrical light conditions. So they're a little bit like this. This is what they look like. See the difference between this and this? 2 different line centers. So there's 4 track interference of XT1000 line conditions, right? So you got low gliders in position locations to set electrical lights, electrical fences, and communication, right? So they track the high line center. The XT1000, the only thing they do is to scan the operation to its position locations. That's their job, all right? Low speeders, anything in the high median line center interference, all they do is set up a graph interference line position location to electrical fence that covers everything through its position, right? So once you come into graph screens, you come into all lines. You set up a graph screen, right? It protects position locations of what you're creating through location, right? Creating that, you crisscross line conditions to the realms of portals, higher channel position line centers, right? It's amazing how you come into that position location. So it's incredible when you travel through these things because you set up sector line communication cycles, high channel and high system locations, right? Northwest, south, and east, right? So you come into all line position locations of its structure. It's amazing when you're doing this through modification. See how it's set up? So how are we all doing so far? Okay, being locked in the headspace, how does it feel? All right. I really want you guys to understand. So you're on a time limit signal. So if you can get out of it, that's great. You'll automatically be in the open space of where you started, right? So it's amazing how things can change very quick, very fast. Get into calculations to the headspace or the mind of its heart space, right? To its precision. So. All right. Sounds like the door at Alcatraz closing. Yeah. Well, you guys have to figure out how to get out. All right. It's good that you guys are seeing each other more. I like to see that. Balanced communications. Great. Harmonics are looking awesome. Frequencies are smooth. Great. Excellent. So as long as you guys are balanced and seeing what you need to see, I'm just going through solid text locations. All right. Jennifer, how you doing? Everything's aligning. Good for you. I just want to show you how powerful that is, why it's so important to stay in the mind of the heart space and not allow yourself to get into the head. Okay, because the head comes into the ego line, which is its trap location. So, all right, let's check those engines. I go off of my own, so you, Max, can do your thing. Okay, great. So that's position location. Positive healing, activating frequencies, attunement, initiated islands, initiated times. Okay, the light system. Rainbow hose setting. Okay, it's great to see how you guys are getting out. Coming in sonar. Okay, Okay, Ellen, how's it going? Catherine, how you doing? Yeah, there's a little bit kilter there. You guys have a little bit problems with the mind control. I can see that already. It's not too bad though. Okay, I'm just going through sequence patterns. Okay, good. All right. Traveling through signal and position locations, blind conditions, guys. So it's important. So we'll continue. Upgrading data based on Banshee, diamond core, and rotation. All right, so 5 minutes sequence and position locations. I'll take you guys out completely. And then you understand the difference between the head space and the mind of its heart space. All right, so as we continue on through the graph interference, the rainbow graph line center can change position locations to any direct line system. All right, so you understand the north, the west, and the east and the south position locations. So as it channels in, you change the coloration line, right? Change position locations. Now you can change to anything through color line system. So if the sun's coming in position locations, in high center in this position location, goes right into the center line, right? There's the sun. As the sun comes in high system, we get 2 more unit line, center line, condition XT because we're changing all graph interference. There's a plasma light that's changing the graph interference. So it's kind of like something that comes on and a beacon light goes off. So anything that platitudes division, it's a security measure that we follow up on, right? It's an indication to make sure that, oh, okay, that's fine. It was just a rabbit that just crossed the laser or anything on the perimeter. So it's important you understand what's in its graph location. Now that's the sun. Now the sun represents high line center interference with so many different colors. It starts out with 3,000 line conditions of dimensions in one universal realm. That's a lot of universal realm connection in one location, right? Now, the sun can go to any calculation of anything through speed line. It can go through anything through acceleration. It can even go back in position of clocking to 12. It can stay in the 24. It can go into the 48, 72, 144, or it can go into all levels in one position location. Now, that 3,000 line condition is already in its activation system. So it changes colorations in position. See how it changes color? Changes colorations in position. See how it changes color? So it's important you understand what the 3,000 line connects to, right? And it changes colorations in position all through the sun. Okay? So as it comes in its high system, the XT1000s goes through the portal line center because that's what the sun is. It's a teleportation unit. Now that travels its high line position location to your thought patterns and what you create through space line. Space line is extremely important because you understand your diversions and your connections to your tactics at high position locations to its grounds, okay, to its position, right? As it comes into its ground, it comes into its tunnel. Now it's a swiveling and a rotation, its position location to its tunnel defense line connections, right? Channel's position goes like this in high system locations, all right? So as it's traveling, it's sequencing high position locations. The light codes are coming in sig line. So as it's coming in position, it's redirecting back into the sun line connections of the 3,000 line position locations of colorations of time, all in one signal into all coloration patterns into its sun activation system. Cool, right? So as it's coming into high line rotation, you have to understand what the XT1000 is doing. As it's coming in, it's high position to its grounds, right? It's traveling, see, from there to there, because that's what they do. They zigzag, right? So they automatically climb in position locations, or they go in division tactics to a laser connection. It goes into the center operation line center, zip zap, zoom and out position location to its equation. All right. See, once it's done position location, it zips out. So it modifies its signal and makes sure it scans its high system. So as it goes into the center operation line conditions, the sun moves its position to its locations. That sets up a new graph interference to its round line conditions. So we're changing box position locations to its calculation. That's what gets really, really interesting. As we come into this line conditions, it channels higher in a higher line center to its diamond core position, right? So as it's in modification signal, the high line center line conditions all levels comes into the ground interference. Now that's a 3 waving line interference location use calculations. See the grounds? So it's like a claw that traps its position. It comes into online center, okay, to its own realm position, right? So as it comes in position location, it comes into a cyclone, a high channel line rotation interference, comes into higher formation of a triangle line center locations. See it? See the triangle? Now it gets complicated when you understand position line conditions. Now it comes into the flux capacitor to the XT1000 line conditions to the left and the right cycle interference in position of program setting. You might want to scan this one. It's the position location line conditions. Tree stand all levels. You want to take a picture of that? Go right ahead. It's extremely powerful. So when you come into that position, you set up the electrical light conditions. This charges its positions to higher division line tactics, communication to its view, electrical light panels, communication system. How space is set up through the sun rotation line conditions of 3,000 channels into a T reception line, all in one signal, right? It's amazing how you come into calculation modification system. Look how powerful that is. Look amazing how that is through a connection by drawing through a triangle. Triangle position location to line connections, right? So we're going to stop there for a bit. I'm going to take you guys out. There's a lot of high signals coming in. Brain channels, brain interference, brain calculation, modification, line conditions, taken out of the headspace, put in the mind operation line system. Now you're out. I continue. So in high signal in communications, we change the all level division. Now this is interesting too, because we can change the patterns in communication cycles. Reset tone line centers in rotation center. And this is where it comes into a sufficient calculations to a black hole. Here's the black hole. As the black hole is coming in, it's channeling its highline center and is traveling to higher position locations. I don't need to set up the security because it's already set in the sun line of 3,000 position, right, to its flux capacitor. See how it sets up? So amazing, it sets up its ground line center in position to the center operation system locations, right? So as it's channeled, it comes into its all line of its clocking system in rotation. See how it comes in rotation? See the intelligence? So as intelligence comes into the highline signal, it opens up all channel highline rotation interference to its modification to its AI position location of its graph line center to its teleportation light system of its teleportation communication system. So the graph line center comes into all line centers. Okay, 3 waving cycles in a ground interference line condition rotation to its position. As it's channeling its highline centers, we're no longer in the 12 line center. Okay, so we're now in the 24 signal. Okay, so you can go from 24 into 144. But wait a minute, where's the 4872? It doesn't have to be in order because it's already in balance of its order. Okay, so you go from 24 to 144, and from 144 you can center up in position locations and mock whatever you want in calculations because the sun is so high rise and so many levels of acceleration. If you go into 3,000 line centers of channels, it's opening all mocking acceleration to its time capacitor, right? It's very powerful when you try position locations to all direction. So when you're going into that calculations, you go into highline center. Now, highline center, if you go into 144, the acceleration goes extremely fast in high rotation center. Okay. So once you come in at high rise line center, you can change position locations again, which changes its position location to the sun and its moon to its round line position location to its calculation. See? As it comes in position locations, we have the XT1000s come in again in the same coloration light connection in its position. It scans it again in rotation center. There we go. So every time it changes the colorations of the sun line and every time it accelerates, the XT1000 has to truly understand what are you calculating through acceleration. Are you going through 12, 24, 48, 72, 144, 144, or so on? Okay. That's a true understanding in that position locations. Now, once it scans the highline center, they take the communication out of its highline center back into all levels of where it's supposed to go through its ground system. See how it's going up the plateau? Now the information goes back into the XT1000 line conditions and it takes it in location. All right. So, and again, you can set up another flux capacitor in position location, set up a new graph interference, a new realm, line position locations, a swivel high line rotation to its calculation, its modification system. All right. Done through equation. Ooh-ah. Wanted to show you how powerful it is, how you do these things through all levels of travel, right? Especially when you're going to colorations of the sun, colorations of the moon, colorations of planets, colorations of clocking, colorations of alliance, coloration of grounds, colorations of intelligence, colorations of your thoughts. How many times did I say coloration? Different variations. All right, the differential, the communication system is all level of division location, guys. All right, that's why it's so powerful when you see these things through spaceline. Okay, I was showing you how you can create it. I know you guys are blown away, right? So, yeah, it's extremely complex, especially when you come into levels from the headspace to the mind of its operation. Okay. So tomorrow we get into this. All right. That's going to be a lot of fun. That's already set in coordinate. It's already set in position line center. All right. So what I just finished showing you is the power that you can have over the mind. When the mind understands what it is, it's all levels of you through travel, and you use it through your thoughts, right? So it gets more complicated if you high level your system into the headspace. It doesn't help the situation, does it? So it's better to understand the headspace to the mind space. And when that comes in position location, that comes into one cycle of one line center to the mind heart line center to the heart line position locations of its headspace of its position location, which becomes an 8 finite line center circle location of its position of space-time. Okay? So it comes into one. Ooh-ah. Cool, right? So, all right. Yeah, I know. It's unbelievable how you guys get into the situations first and really understand the space inside you, why it's so important to keep your thoughts where they're supposed to be going forward. Okay? Going forward is everything to the avatar. It helps you in all ways. It helps you in so many communications to your interline connections, your interdimensional system, the intergalactic line connection, your DNA tracking interference, your calculation modifications, your heart reactor division light centers, your cell generation light centers, your particle system, the energy light position location, the electrical light connection. Why is it so easy for me to communicate with you? Because it's already stored here through an expansion, right? So it's very important to understand to get that in high center to the headspace, to the mind, to its collaboration, to its infinity 8, to its circle of balance in space and time. Through the mind equals all levels of operation. All right. So that was fun. All right. Yeah, I know. It's powerful stuff, isn't it, Gypsy? That was too much for my... Yeah. So it gives you time. You know, Zoom is coming up and I'm going to cut it short because get you guys ready. Get you back in formation, back in calculation. Make sure you drink your waters. Give you 15, 20 minutes to get ready to get on Zoom. Looking forward to seeing you guys. All right. Tomorrow's a test day. Be prepared. Adios.